Wow, one of the most shocking knockouts in recent memory. Cory Sandhagen knocked out the man with the most fight time in UFC history, and he did it in less than 30 seconds. That incredible finish might have seemed like a perfect coincidental storm, but in reality, this memorable moment was the result of a skillful combination of preparation, timing, and execution, delivered early by the Sandman. Frankie Edgar has fought for 7 hours, 41 minutes in the octagon. That is a lot of study material for Sandhagen, and evidently, he's done his own work. Indeed, he saw something on tape that he'd be looking to exploit as soon as he could. Look, in his fight against Pedro Munoz, Frankie showed this tendency. When both fighters were getting closer, and Pedro looked like he was throwing something, Frankie would dip slightly to the right so that the rear hand was ready to be unloaded as a counter. And actually, that's a movement that the Answer uses in various situations, but in general, he moves like this when his opponent is getting closer, or when his opponent throws a feint or an attack. So now, that's all registered in Cory's brain, but there is still a lot of work to do. The fight starts. Right away, he sees it. That line of head movement. Calculations are already on their way. Cory moves back and then circles out to his own left. This time, Frankie dips his head, but to the other side. This is not the head movement Sandhagen's looking for. What Cory is going to realize, if he hasn't already, is that Frankie tends to dip his head on the opposite side of his opponent's movement. Just like that. Here, very close to the fence, Sandhagen stops his movement suddenly and throws a little feint. Edgar reacts by pressuring forward, dropping his level a little bit. But again, because Sandhagen is now moving to his own left, Frankie also moves his head to his own left. That's not the exact line of head movement Sandhagen wants to see, at least not for the devastating attack he's preparing. 2 seconds later, Cory wants to reinforce his read. He throws another subtle feint in the orthodox stance. Edgar drops his level slightly and shows Cory exactly what he wants to see. Then, Sandhagen throws a jab and moves to his left. Predictably, Frankie evades it by moving his head on the opposite side, but just after that, his position reveals a whole lot. You can tell Cory is thinking about it. He can't wait. But the pressure from Edgar continues. In the small octagon, Cory has to move. And every time he moves to the left, Frankie's head goes towards the opposite side to find a safe angle. Now, the Sandman knows what he has to do to create the correct reaction. He just has to find a way to generate some attraction. To ensure the pressure from Frankie, he has to manufacture his entry, which is why he moves straight back for the first time of the fight. And to make sure Edgar doesn't dip to the left, he even moves slightly to the right. It's the way Cory retreats, closer to the fence, to enclose himself. He just knows this is an invitation Frankie must accept. But never in a million years Edgar would suppose that he would be so brutally exposed. It's time. Sandhagen initiates his attack, just like he wanted, just like he predicted. Edgar's head finds itself on the right track. Because of his previous feints and his extensive film study, Cory knows exactly where to intercept him with his vicious knee. His strike has an instant effect on the fan favorite Frankie, who gets slept as the Sandman starts demanding respect.
That's how you get it.
The combination of preparation and timing from Cory was something to behold, but without his flawless execution, this flying knee would have never landed. Only a few people in the world can throw that technique in that fashion. Look, at the moment of the launch, it doesn't look like Cory's about to jump. His knees are not bent all that much. Nothing indicates that he could jump that high, that quickly. Also, like we said, Sandhagen predicted Edgar's head movement line, but look at the way he follows his target during the whole technique. He is supremely focused on tracking Frankie's chin, even if he already has a decent idea of where it's going. That focus results in mind-blowing precision. Obtaining this kind of connection is literally as hard as kicking a 50-yard field goal without a holder catching the ball first. Almost as hard as scoring that goal, or that one. But in the UFC, the consequences and the stakes are not comparable to any other sport. That doesn't seem to affect Sandhagen though, because right after annihilating his opponent, he lands on his feet like he just got out of his truck, and calmly walks away like nothing happened. It always impresses me when a fighter does some ninja stuff and lands smoothly on the ground with perfect balance, while their opponent is still falling down like a tree. What an unbelievable moment that was. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you'd like. Subscribe if you haven't already. You guys are great. Alright. See ya.